So I started a company immediately and was very open about it with the company that I was working for. And I started utilizing that business. They had like 41 businesses.
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
What advice, for example, I say, in my opinion, okay, if you're making money in your business, I don't know, if you don't understand how much invest, buy a house, I don't know, rent it out, and the little bit of the profit that you make, use this money for marketing, something that can give you cash flow in case that something goes wrong with your business, you have something. So what is your message for good entrepreneurs that they might think that they're a good investor, but this is a completely different ballgame?
Yeah, so from the serial entrepreneur standpoint, it's a safety measure for me. I'm a big investor in real estate as well. Like I'm a CPA, own tax firms, but I like to diversify my portfolio so that I'm never as a whole at zero at any point. So if one business, there's challenges and compromises, I can balance out with other things. So I'm never relying on one thing. And that's what I love about being a serial entrepreneur. I've never actually cashed out in any of my real estate yet. I'm under 40, luckily still. So I have not yet cashed out on my real estate,
Wow,
but
congratulations.
yeah, but
Brilliant.
I'm almost 40, so I'm not too long. But so I've been able to reinvest a lot of my personal funds, and I keep that rolling right now because I'm at that point where, again, I want to grow my empire, do all those things. But from a business standpoint, what I would say for anybody listening in is you want to be careful, again, not to rely heavily on one thing. What I mean by that is you'll see a lot of companies that rely heavily on a big customer, and that's where they'll maybe start the business, they'll build it around that one customer. So if something happens to that one customer, it's detrimental to the success of that business, right? Now, if you're diversifying your services where you're not taking all money up front for each one, maybe you have reoccurring revenue is going to be very important. Subscriptions, if you're looking at tech, other ways so that you're never at a point where one trigger, one event can never take you down to zero. That's going to be the most important thing, is to protect yourself by diversifying your product lines, by diversifying your tech stack, by diversifying your offerings, by diversifying your clients, strategic partnerships. You don't just have one. I don't believe in siloing anything. You should have multiples of everything you're doing so that you've never been able, none of my businesses I've been blessed to say none of my businesses have gone down to zero. It's never happened before because of that mentality, systems and processes and the right people in place.
And
But I have chosen,
diversification, very good.
right,
So my next
diversification key.
question comes here, right? Which is how you learn this? Do you have your family are entrepreneur? Do you have a friend, or do you have a major setback? If you can share, because in business, unfortunately, I only learn when I when thing goes wrong. This is what I
Yeah.
have to pay attention to this. So any incident, any story that you can share with us from your life as an entrepreneur that
Yeah.
something didn't went as planned, and you said, you know what? I had to rethink this strategy because clearly I had the ability to make money. This is no problem. I can do it anytime I want. I'm a good entrepreneur. However, this keeping the money thing, I didn't know that I had to know a lot of things that I don't know. So what happened that you took that decision? I can tell that you took that decision in your life, and since then you decide to become very good at this from
Yes.
real
Yeah.
estate. So what happened?
You're right on. And it's happened more than once where I've made the decision
That's why
to
you're so good. That's why you know a lot. It happened more than once.
Yes, it's happened more than once, and they're not easy decisions to make. But I'll go back a little bit. So from my childhood, I'm a third generation entrepreneur. My family came here from Italy. They moved into New York, and my grandfathers were butchers. Like they would always own their own business. My father was he invests in like rare coins, and he had like 30 employees at one time, and he's just
Wow.
had all different businesses that he would run in addition to his rare coin business that he had for 30 something years. And there would be like restaurants one week, and another week would be art gallery, and another week would be like,
Oh, we'd be a very good friend of your dad. Yeah.
yeah, yes. I mean,
That's my
my
type of
dad,
guy. Yeah.
yes, our favorite conversation is
Creative,
to
very
talk about business.
creative. Yeah. Every day an idea. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And visionary investors. So for me, it was second nature because I was never worried about like change in any aspect. I was used to a lot of turbulence, growing up, but I also
Mm-hmm.
saw things that I wouldn't do, which helped me for, again, making sure that I had that diversification, some of the things that you hit on there as
Mm.
well. So the first time that I ever had to make like a choice because the money wasn't staying in or pivot was one of my first physical businesses when I was like 21 years old out of college, and I opened up a
21
fitness.
years old, you
Yeah.
you build your first business. If I tell you what I was doing when I was 21 years old, panting all over Spain and London.
I know. It's so 20, yes, 21 I opened up my first physical business. I had businesses before that, but this was a fitness studio that I opened up. And when you're young, you're
A
worried about
fitness
having,
studio? You open a
yeah,
fitness studio with
yeah,
21? Wow.
correct. Yes,
Do you
it was.
knew what you were getting into? Clearly you did. Because
I
it's
know. I
very,
probably
very
should have been having.
very competitive space, right?
It was,
Tough.
yeah. Yes, it was. It still is. It still is. But we were bringing
Mm.
things.
Tell
We
me
were
about it.
bringing things that didn't exist yet to the market, like before hot yoga came in and like those trendy things. And we
Wow.
were we were getting certified in really. This was like 20, almost 20 years ago now. But we were getting certified in things that were not popular yet ahead of time. So it was great. But what happened was there is again, like when you're starting your first business, managing your money can be really challenging, and
Cash
every
flow.
dollar. Yeah, every dollar has a purpose, right? Like, so
Mm.
is it going to be reinvesting? Is it going to be to pay yourself? Is it going to be to try
Expansion.
to get more clients, expansion? Yeah. And what is it for? So, knowing the purpose of what that looks like in the early stages is very important. Where we had a disconnect is I brought a partner on with me, and we were connected on the vision. We were not connected
Mm-hmm.
on the climb, meaning like not paying ourselves, expansion. I wanted to have like 25 of these and just franchise them. She
Mm-hmm.
wanted more, just a few small towns. So I made a pivot early on in that stage to move away from it because the the processes we were putting in place
Mm-hmm.
didn't align
Mm-hmm.
with what my full vision
Mm-hmm.
was. We
Mm-hmm.
were not aligned on the big picture, and the counts that we were taking every day to not pay ourselves, to I wanted to hire more people, she didn't, whatever it was. I was more about like reinvesting into personnel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's where I realized there was non-alignment. And for that reason, like I left, the business. So
Wow.
remained good friends to this day. But that was the
Mm-hmm.
first time I encountered like a challenge like that where I had to make a big decision. I made a big investment. I had my
Big.
CPA. I
Wow.
was supposed to be an accountant, and I just was like, this is not for me. Instead, I'm going to open up a fitness studio. So it was a humbling moment. I felt like I had to walk back to accounting initially with my tail down because
Mm.
it looked like a failure, and I thought it was a failure then, but I
Mm.
realized it was a choice. And I'm glad I did it then. She stayed with it.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, and it happened to you so young, right? If I
yeah.
tell you stories, people from this podcast, I will depress you. You will ended up crying. People that what happens to people because sometimes actually I this is a question that I asked to a lot of guests from this podcast, right? Because I say, okay, if you had to start all over again, what would you different? And they always telling me culture. Harry, if I
Mm,
knew that I need to start it all over again, culture would be the thing that we pay more attention. Meaning, okay, how you bring your partners, how you bring your employees, how you bring, that if I knew that, I will make sure that the values that I have as a person
mhm.
align with the values of my business partners, with the values of my team members, with the values of my customers, so you can create something. Because at the end of the day, who are who you are, and your values are your values. And there's
Right.
nothing wrong with your friend. Still, in like for example, to give you an example, my company. Okay, I since I'm in business, I'm a big fan of high productivity and low staff. Okay, my first real estate business, we sell 5 million, and we were three people,
Yeah.
full time and
Right.
two contractors. Okay, so that's who I am. This is how I operate. Nothing to
Right.
do. I coach a CEO of supermarket that have 4,000 employees. For me, I'm listening this and already giving me headache. That
Right.
you have
Yeah.
4,000 employees. But anyway, so the people that come to work with my company, right? I have those values that I operate like this. So there is no such a thing in my company. I never listened in 18 years an employee tell me to me, Harry, this is not my job, right? They know
Right.
that when they come, this is a 360 thing, that tomorrow we're going to do a podcast. Like this podcast, I told them, look, we're going to do a podcast. Harry, what is this? I don't know. I said, well, we don't know either. Well, he told me, Harry, 3 weeks, give us 3 weeks. And after 3 weeks, they came back and said, just touch the button, forget it. They did this beautiful background. I don't know how they did the thing they did, but they managed. So the whole point, Daniel, uh, and this is a very technical concept that you have to learn hard, and maybe you don't even know that this what happened to you maybe was a disalignment in culture and in values. Okay, nothing wrong with anybody, but so when do you learn that like you came back and you doing your CPA? So how you start to reshape, because entrepreneurs, the good thing about us, we always come back in a different form, yeah. The
Resilience. Yeah.
most sophisticated form, yeah. There's and let us when we can go down, but when we come back in a different form. So tell us about that transformation specifically.
That's a great point. If we're coming back, it's guns blazing. We're ready to go. So, I mean, it happened immediately. So the second I was at like a corporate job again, I started another company on the side, which was a tax firm. And I saw a need in the industry there. So that's where I said, oh, wow, like nobody's doing these tax credits that are helping businesses save money and get businesses like literal funding without taking equity. And they just don't understand the system. So there's like the research and development tax credit. There's manufacturers have a ton of tax credits that are specific by state. Anyone that's going to innovate, there's grants. And I wanted to be more of the good guy versus like, let me do your taxes and tell you what I owe. That's how the mentality started. So I started a company immediately and was very open about it with the company that I was working for. And I started utilizing that business. They had like 41 businesses, and I started getting them refunds, $500,000, $300,000, because they were innovating and creating things. And there was all these credits. What happened was I called up the big four, spoke to my connections there, and nobody could point me in the right direction. And so I said, oh, if nobody has an answer, then I'm going to create it. And that's what I did right away. As I did that, I also created an IoT business, which is Internet of Things, which is a technology, physical product, fire safety device that I brought to market in Target, Walmart, all those things. So,
wow.
And while working a full-time job initially, yeah. Yeah. But then I got out real quick and became, again, a full-blown, it was just like a finance thing where it's scary to go back on your own, especially like, you know, when you're at that age that you're expecting to start making salary and money and whatever it is. But I was never born to work for anybody else. So I'm meant to collaborate with others and partner, but I'm not meant to work for somebody else. So, but yeah,
neither do I. I can work with you, but unfortunately I cannot work for you.
Correct. Yes. Yes. We can do this together.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.